Hello, my name is Alika Karpova. You are watching It All Starts With a Dream. Most of the things that we see around us every day are the products of people's dreams. It was not so long ago that airplanes did not exist, but there were many people dreaming of creating a marvelous machine that could allow humans to fly. Today, we have airplanes thanks to the dreams of those people. Walt Disney once had a dream to create a beautiful amusement park for kids and adults to enjoy, and he found a way to make it happen. Many of dreams that were great achievements had a starting point during a childhood. In 2002, I published a magazine, It All Starts With a Dream, where kids had their dreams shared with audience. In that magazine, I also interviewed entrepreneurs and professionals about their childhood dreams and how their dreams were transformed into great achievements. You can find a digital copy of that magazine at itallstartswithadream.net. It's easy to remember. Please go and check it out, itallstartswithadream.net. In the talk show, I transferred the idea of the magazine onto the screen, having live interviews. Our guests will share their life experiences, incredible stories, and the secrets of success and the power of following one's dreams. Let me introduce to you the people on our show today. Kristina Karevsky-Karpova, our little star. She goes to Starbright School and also Play and Learn Montessori School. Sofia Yetka, our young generation, Westmont High School. Catherine Athens, PhD, author of Make Your Dreams Come True. You can find more information about this book at angelsisland.com. Again, angelsisland.com. And our special guest, Venetian artist who does paintings, prints, drawings, sculptures, ceramics and more, Carlo Marchiori. Carlo founded Katoga Art Gallery in 1998 and also built an amazing Villa Katoga in Calistoga from scratch. Carlo is a visionary person. He has dreams and he makes them into reality with his golden hands. Carlo, Kristina prepared a wonderful question for you. Kristina, what is your question? Ask. Go ahead, honey.
What was your childhood dream?
Oh, my childhood dream was long ago. I forgot about it. But I always wanted to have a set of pencils, colored pencils, so I could draw nice pictures. And I started with that. And that was my dream, I guess. I kept going.
It's wonderful. So, Carlo, tell us more about your childhood. Where are you from? What was your childhood experience? Who were your parents? Were they artists?
That was a long time ago. It was during the war. I was 8 years old when the war was over, and the times were not very happy or everything else. So mainly, I think I got creative because if they didn't give me toys, I would make them myself. And so that was probably the start. And then I went to art school eventually, not quite sure about being successful as an artist in those days. And because it was very tough at the time, I went to art school. When I finished with the art school and they were saying, you're going to have a tough time, I left and I went to Canada, where I washed dishes and I learned English. And eventually I got into, because I was concerned about a livelihood, into commercial art.
You will tell more about that. I have more questions for you, a little bit about back to your childhood. Did you have a big family, maybe brothers, sisters?
Yeah, a lot of big family.
How many sisters and brothers?
I have 7 sisters and 1 more brother.
Wow, such a big family.
I don't really remember my childhood very well because there was too much chaos and too much, I mentioned the war and all things like that. So I wasn't the happiest, not that I was unhappy, but I don't have incredible memories.
Not incredible memories.
I probably lived in my own world,
Own
as
world
a
of
kid,
imagination.
to
Well,
avoid
about
the,
that, I believe that what we do in childhood kind of leads us to what we do in adulthood. So you did a lot of probably childhood projects, yes?
Well, as I said, because I couldn't have any toys, I had to make my own. I made puppets. I made all kinds of funny things I forgot now.
What materials did you use?
or anything and everything else that was available, because in those days you couldn't go to the supermarket to get what you want. You know, you usually if I have clay, I would make things out of clay. But you know, you have to whatever, and that's why now I mean I can use anything I have available. I can do whatever I have. I throw it on the pot.
Okay, I think Sophia has a couple questions for you. Sophia, go ahead, ask.
Yes, I have a question. It's where and how did you find your inspiration?
Inspiration.
Yes.
Oh, I don't really know what inspiration is. You see, is that when you want to do something because you think that would be an idea you have, and you think you could do that, you know, you go ahead and do it. You know, I don't really know what an inspiration is supposed to be.
So you just do stuff without like.
You know, if you're motivated to do something, you say, well, I want to paint a picture. Because you see a nice girl on the street, whatever it is, you go home and you go, I want to remember her. And you know, so maybe she's the inspiration there, you see. So it's like when you sort of want to eat something and you say, oh, I don't know, you see apples and pears. I'm going to make an apple and pear pie tonight. That's the inspiration, I'm sorry.
One more question is about when did you realize that art is what you want for life, to do like for life?
Oh, I was never quite sure, and still I'm not quite sure if life for me is for art, because it has to be meaningful. And I always worked on the light side of what do you call it? Whatever I do, I don't do it so deeply involved, you know. So I'm not quite sure if it's sort of it would hold. But you do things because you do it, and you don't have to think too much about it.
Thank you.
Carlo, I have one more question about your relatives. Maybe are they artists, or maybe your parents were artists?
No, they were not artists. You know, they were sort of struggling to survive. A big family. We had my family on the side. They used to have a silk factory. And but during the war, that was all sort of that stopped. What else? I don't know. It was a kind of a survival, you know, and we had to look for food. It was during the war. It was tough.
During the war.
So they didn't have time to music and painting and and art. It was necessity.
But who influenced you the most? How it happened that you finally picked the path of an artist?
Oh, you know, I mean, I go to church and see paintings everywhere in the church. For instance, that was a kind of the first visual education I had. That could have been it. And anything that was sort of interesting, you know, it would just make my attention. And finally, the movies would come after all, and things like that, you know.
Movies. Okay. Catherine, you have your questions for
Oh,
Carlo?
yes. This is very interesting. Thank you. So, did you go to an art school in Canada, or?
No, I went to sort of a high school in Italy, and then my mother, because she wanted me to be responsible, you know, economically, she wanted me to become a bookkeeper. I was not interested in numbers and things like that, but I insisted to be allowed to go to art school, and they were really kind of reticent to let me go. And I went to 3 years of art school in the Istituto d'Arte, we call it, in Padua, in Italy. And I enjoyed every day I went there. I wouldn't miss one day. We learned everything, sort of decorative painting, sculpture, a bit of everything. And I knew at the end, after the 3 years, I would have to continue at the Accademia in Venice, which would have been being supported to continue. And I didn't want to, I couldn't expect that, so I went to Canada, as I mentioned.
And how did you get to Canada?
Oh,
Why
as an immigrant,
Canada?
yeah.
Why not the United States?
I couldn't go to the United States because near where I come from, there happened to be a sort of an office, Canadian office for immigration. So I went there and inquired, and they explained me how and everything else. I had to force my parents to let me go. They let me go.
Oh, forced by coercion?
I don't know if I did hunger strike, but
Okay.
almost.
Almost. So you're in Canada,
Uh,
and did you go to art school in Canada then? As well?
I would go at night school. I would go. I would do life drawing, but during the day I worked, in a dog food factory. I worked.
So when did you sell your first painting? When were you recognized?
Then from there, I went and I worked at the department store as a display artist.
Oh, okay.
And I
And
did.
how did you get that job?
I just showed them my little drawing. I could do this and that and the other, and they said sure. They took me in. It was days where I remember where in my first week I got paid $35.
Wow.
That was very good. It was
Yes.
a long time ago. And what else? The first painting I sold, I don't remember, but I used to do and draw and everything else, and I would sell them. Whoever was interested, if they're interested to buy it, I would give it to them for a few dollars. You know, I started like that.
Okay, and so you started like that, but then you got more well-known.
Yeah, then I got into graphic arts and film animation because I got to work with the television station there doing, what do you call it, graphics, you know, lettering and film animation. And film animation, it was kind of interesting because it was experimental for me. It was, you know, you do a drawing one at a time, you know, like Disney would do. And I continue on till computer animation came in, and I wasn't really fascinated with the computer because too much of a complex tool between me and the immediacy of what I'm doing.
Sure.
And you know, I had to sort of learn too much about the machinery, I call it.
Okay.
So
well,
forgive me, so I gave that up.
I understand that you were nominated for an Academy Award in,
Yeah.
in Canada. You want to talk about
And that was
that?
at the time when after television, I went to work for, they offered me a project, the National Film Board of Canada. It's a renowned film company, the government in Canada. And they wanted to do one of those short that you have on they used to have in the movie theaters, you know, before the
Yes.
feature. You have a little
Yeah.
short always. It was one of those very first anti-smoking campaign shorts, anti-smoking, called The Drag. And I did it. I worked very hard and everything else. I was fed up after a while, and I finished it and everything else. And a few months later, they told me that on the phone that it was nominated for an Academy Award.
Fantastic.
I thought they were pulling my legs, but I didn't win anyway.
Well, still you were nominated.
All
That
right.
that is really amazing.
Yeah.
So you went from there, and then I understand that you did mural paintings. Can you tell us a little more about how
After-
did you go from the Academy Award nomination for your short?
And then I traveled to Japan. I lived in Japan for a while. I was doing, again, commercial for television because there I had to make a living. And I was doing graphics, illustration, and film animation in the form of commercial for TV. And then, as I mentioned, the computer got in, computer animation.
Yes.
So I dropped that. And I realized, for a minute, I was sort of concerned about making a living in this world of the 20th century then, 21st now. But I realized that I could do old European art, much in demand for hotels, restaurants, casinos. And I worked for Las Vegas, for Atlantic City, the casinos, and I did quite a bit of that. Also hotels, when they refurbish hotels in anywhere in Japan, Singapore. And I got busy with that. At the time I did this house, you probably mentioned before.
Yes.
The house, which I call Katoga because it's in the town of Kalistoga.
Yes.
In Venetian, Katoga means happy winner, funny house. Katoga.
Okay, so
It's happy
your
to-
murals were everywhere, and you became recognized for being a mural painter as well.
Yeah, the good thing about me is because I can interpret European style better than other people because I'm from there. It's my culture, it's my language, you see.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I have some questions for you about your beautiful Villa Katoga because
Okay.
I think this is like masterpiece. When I saw your villa first time in real life, I had a chance to go actually, and you showed me your beautiful artwork. I was amazed. I was like, wow, I have to do the whole program about you. So I have a first question. Please let's show the image of Villa Katoga so the audience can see. And the first question is like, how many years actually it took for you to build it from start to finish? How many years?
Oh my, I don't remember very well, but anyway, it was something like 20, 25 years. I bought this piece of, these little 5 acres of land in Calistoga. And there was a sort of, nothing, a field. And I thought what I could do. I like history, and realizing that I had left Italy and I left Venice and the Veneto area where I come from, I realized that I left something behind that I miss. And I probably wanted to recreate that, and I tried to recreate something that I was behind there.
So the exterior design that you got, it's basically from Italy, yes?
Yes, it's Italian, a sort of Palladian idea. I had to do it kind of modest because budget and things, I was working in Las Vegas, making money and putting it there. And then little by little I could do things. I'm very versatile, I can do anything, I'm not a very good carpenter, but I can mix cement and sculptures and all kinds of things. I can do that.
How many people helped you to build the
Oh,
villa?
quite a few people that help me along. Some Latino workers, they help me. I could speak Spanish with them, and we get along very good. And good.
So I have another question for you. So I really amazed with your living room. Can we show the living room, please? So, living room. Can you explain about like how long it took for you to create the exterior design? For
Yeah,
the
how
living
long I
room?
forget, because when I work, I have so many burners going. Many projects. So I don't remember how long, but I work very fast because I have no patience, and I want to see it done more. I don't enjoy the process, of the project. I work so that I can finish it, and so I work pretty fast. I don't remember how many months, and I would do a little bit here, a little bit there, and it got done.
It has 2 sculptures of like, it looks like some gods. Like, can you
Yeah,
explain?
it's a recreation of the ideals of the 1500s. The villas in the area where I come from, they're Palladium, designed by the architect Palladio, and they were decorated inside by very famous artists such as Veronese or others. And because it was such a big space, they would sort of challenge the monumental. They would paint giants holding the ceiling or something like that. And I tried to do that because in the house, I was interested more in volume and space than any other nicety. I wanted to see, not necessarily like to be inside a church or inside a big, I like the challenge of space, the distance. So you have to, a wall that is too far away from you, you have to do big things, because you're commanding it from far away.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. My next question is about one of your bedrooms. It looks like cage for the birds. Can you explain about that?
Yeah. Well, I was doing all that house, and I was trying to make it as a showcase for prospect clients that would want painted homes and rooms and such. So, I had this, during the construction of the house, I had this room that was another box, And so how do you transform this box? I could have done it neoclassic style, Baroque style, whatever you want, But I decided to turn it into a bird cage from the inside, so with the chicken wires, painted on the walls. And in order to make it more, the chicken wire is very large, because the idea is, being a big cage, I want you to feel that you're enclosed and you probably feel like a little bird. In order to frighten you as a bird, yet I painted outside of the chicken wire on the wall a very large cat that would sort of really control your bird feelings.
Bird feelings.
It's very
So that
interesting.
was it. Anyway, it was
Yeah.
just a gag.
It
that
was
I
interesting to
enjoyed.
wake up in that room and it's like very big cat. It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
And again, it's a challenge of creativity. What do you do in a box? Turn it into a cage.
Another interesting project on the side of your Villa Catoga, it's La Grotta. So
La
can you
Grotta.
explain? It's like so many shells there. Did you count how many?
Oh yeah. The grotta is sort of related to the in the Renaissance gardens in Italy, and probably in Rome too, in Pompeii. they would do outdoors situation, like they would do little grottos covered with dirt because that was cool in the summer. It's a form of not necessarily refrigeration, but in order to be cooler in the summer. So they would decorate these grottos with shells and whatever you want. It's typical. And I did mine with abalone shells because it's sort of common there along the coast. Everybody collect abalone shells, and I could sort of gather a bunch of them, and I lined the dome of this grotto.
Beautiful. So, Catherine, you have a couple questions about.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I understand you have an art gallery there as well. Can you talk to us a little bit about, can you describe what?
Yeah. I do all my work because I do ceramics, whatever, sculpture, bronzes that I have cast, edition of bronzes or edition of paintings. And the way the gallery came about because the ladies of the local museum there asked to borrow for a benefit the villa, and so they invited. I could get a lot of people for 2-3 years doing it once a year, and everybody wanted to buy a little this or a little that. So my friend and partner Tony, we decided to have a little bit of a gallery. We will secure a little bit of property in the downtown of Calistoga, on the condition that Tony, my friend Tony,
Yes.
Bantutham, his name, would look after it, and he takes good care of it.
Wonderful.
And so I produce these things, and we sell my art, there.
And is that satisfying to sell your art?
I'm not a good salesman, that's why I asked him to do it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's take a look at the next image. It's Pulcinella.
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 Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Alika likes this painting very much. Can you talk about this and the story behind Pulcinella?
Pulcinella. Pulcinella is a character from the Italian theater, and he has sort of roots from old history. And he represents Naples. In Italy, every city has a stock character.
Wow.
So Pulcinella is from Naples, and he speaks Neapolitan, and he's sort of, the word crazy, he's sort of very imaginative, and he can be sweet, gentle, loving, romantic, but also cruel and mean, and And because he was popular in the Venetian Carnival in Venice, the carnival was very popular, and he would always appear there, along with other characters like Arlecchino, Arlequin,
Yes.
and another guy, Pantalone,
Yes.
Pantalone, and Colombina, and some other characters. And so I use them because I can make them do anything I want in the paintings, and so there is no complaints, no, no, what do you call it? Maybe
No back talk to you.
no, or maybe no lawsuits.
No
Maybe
lawsuits.
from the city of Naples one of these days. All right.
Yeah.
So I have a next question for you. What is your next dream project, or maybe like something what you want to do in the future?
Oh, it's very dangerous to have dreams. You have to sort of manage reality.
Maybe next project in the future. What do you have?
I'm telling you, I'm getting into writing a sort of memoir book. I'm attempting, because I mentioned my family, the war and things like that, and then my grandparents. I remember, and it's sort of like what would you call it? A period in history where things change incredibly to today, And so it's kind of a, what do you call it, a run through sort of old history and new attitudes and new mentality and new education, and two sort of consequences that, I probably don't like, I have to accept. And so that is a bit of a challenge. I sort of like to tackle that project. That's the project. And also because I'm getting a little old, I cannot mix cement too much, so writing is easier,
Okay.
Okay.
conveniently
good.
easier.
Sure. Did you ever think of yourself as possibly a reincarnation of Da Vinci, or?
No, no, no,
No, no. I see your
No,
work.
no, I want to be
think it-
myself if I can be. If I barely can manage to be myself, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't think of being sort of
No, just Carlo.
poor Leonardo. Leave him alone.
You are a very successful artist. Would you share with us and with audience your secrets of success?
Success, hard work.
Hard work.
That's all I can say. I mean, not because. I mean, if I was a little bit more, if I had been a little bit more diplomatic in sort of connecting my work around the world, maybe I would have been more successful. But if I would have been more diplomatic, I would have been a diplomat, a politician. you
Not
know.
an artist.
So when you're an artist, you're stuck to sort of within your limits or whatever. But you know, we envy artists because they think, or we think, that they have a lot of imagination, and that's good ammunition. You know, it sort of makes you to evade reality as much as you have to. You're bound to it.
So hard work.
Yeah,
I would
hard work,
say.
yeah.
Hard work. Is anything else you would like to say to inspire our viewing audience?
Well, I think today, you know, I'm talking about an old man. Things are different. There is sort of a sort of a need for creativity because it's creative expression. People are frustrated because they do everything digitally, you know, but they don't even know how to talk to one another in conversation. You know, they text each other. So the art of conversation is, you know, and they talk in sort of code words. And because they don't read enough or because they haven't studied enough, sorry. But, you know, to develop your own creativity and your form of expression, which is very important, you have to sort of, you know, you have to educate yourself and work and all that and make a little bit of an effort. Not, you know, reach for immediate gratification in cha-cha-cha-cha.
Yes.
You know, and not even shop too much. You have to make your own sweater, like you did, isn't it? Did you make it yourself?
Well, not really. I bought it.
Oh, you should have made it yourself.
But thank you very much, Carlo. Carlo, thank you very much for coming to our show today. It was such an incredible experience to have you here.
Okay.
And Christina and Sophia and
Okay,
Catherine,
Christina, all the best
thank
to you.
you very much for coming to our show
Alright.
today as well. And you were watching It All Starts With a Dream. Have a wonderful day and see you next time. Thank you. There you go.